Hello, welcome to Spirit Quest from the US with Dennis. Today is August 14th, it's Friday of 2015, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about the 6 basic needs that humans all have. We talked about them before in the previous 7 videos, back from the last one about a week ago, and I just wanted to say I've been reflecting on how I've met the 6 basic needs in childhood and how that's affected me now. So I've been contemplating with Monica about this and thinking back on what my needs were as a child that were met and were not met. And so I'd like you to do the same. So for me to share this with you, I'm hoping will inspire you to look into your own life and see what needs were and were not met in your childhood and how that is affecting you now. So the first one was contribution. So as a child, I didn't have much exposure to contribution. I wasn't really involved in any volunteer efforts. Everything I did was for a reward. So I was not exposed to that need and didn't know that I had that within me. And now, possibly that's why I'm so adamant about contributing now, because it's something I never did before. The next one is growth. Growth, I feel like I had academically, but not personally. I didn't feel like I had my need for personal growth met. And as a child, I didn't know how to do that. So I feel like there was something missing from the parenting I received to really nurture growth in my weaknesses, as my social weaknesses, my characteristic weaknesses. So being more independent and things of that nature. And I could be wrong. This is all just the way I perceive things and my memory of them. The third one is certainty. So I had certainty in my life in that there was food on the table, there was a roof over my head, but I moved around a lot. There wasn't a lot of routine, and even when I was in church, that was only for a period of probably 3 or 4 years of my life, my adolescence. So everything was kind of always going through stages, and there was kind of always things changing, consistent change. So that takes me to where I am now, and growing up as I came into my own manhood, I realized looking at it that even as I dabbled with alcohol or marijuana use in my 20s, and 18, like 16, 18, 20s, I did it incrementally. I did it in stages, very controlled. I was always certain about what I was doing before I did it. And that's possibly because I didn't have much certainty or stability in the foundation of my childhood. So that takes me into the next basic need, introspectively, which is uncertainty. And uncertainty, I feel like I had a lot of in childhood because I moved around a lot, and I had different stepfathers, and I moved away from my father, and he remarried, and there were just always, like I mentioned, there were always changes happening. And so if I had a need for uncertainty, it was certainly met. So I feel like now that I'm feeling a need for uncertainty doing my travels that I'm doing. And I didn't have that need for a long time. Maybe I moved around quite a bit in my 20s as well. Not quite as much, but enough. And there was significant change that I had, and that was my routine. So there's definitely a correlation between that and where I am now. The last need I want to talk to you about is, there's 2 more. Significance. So I felt like as a child that I felt insignificant. I didn't have anything to be responsible for. My opinion, my sister's opinion took precedence over mine. That's my perception. And so I'm working on significance now. In the way of contribution and in learning and helping others. So that's how those go hand in hand with me. And then lastly is love and connection. So that need I felt as a child, that while I received all I needed to in practicality, food, clothing, shelter, I felt like I didn't receive the nurturing that I needed. So I didn't have that connection. I wasn't accepted for who I was. I had a tendency to get my love and acceptance through significance, in that in traumatic experiences I would be the one to break up that tension and make people laugh, make them smile, and forget about what they were doing, forget about what was going on for a moment, relax the situation. And that was my real role, and that's the only time I really felt like I was giving something that was important, that I was important. And church did, the span that I went to church and was spiritual in my childhood for 3 or 4 years, that did give me spiritual connection and gave me confidence through God that I was somebody and I was important. So now I value and growing up too, I valued my close friendships, and I've never forgotten them. And I remain devoted to helping them if and when they need it. So that's how that's affected me. So I'd like you to share with me or others in this group what your needs were as a child and how they have affected you, and what was met and what wasn't. And until next time, namaste.